So, everybody, we've got big news over the Memorial Day weekend. First, sensational reports that claimed an Iranian Revolutionary Guardsman plotted to assassinate the president's daughter. Then, the next day, President Trump signaled peace in the Middle East was coming, or it was at least close, after he spoke with allies from Arab nations. And then this news sent Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, and Mark Levin into a panic. All of this happened after Tulsi Gabbard suddenly announced her resignation to be with her sick husband. And then, of course, Vice Admiral Robert Harward's bizarre appearance on Fox News where his mask was slipping. Some say literally. It's also primary day in the state of Texas, where Rhino John Cornyn and Ken Paxton face off in a runoff election where President Trump's endorsement streak is once again on the line. We've got a ton to get to in the short days that we've been absent here, plus the holiday. So stick with us. We're going to try our best to get to it all. The Paul Harrell program starts right now.
Paul Harrell program.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Broadcasting live from the great state of Arkansas here on LFA TV. And in the co-host seat, we've got Rob Spencer is with us. Rob, how you doing?
Paul, just an honor to be here with you, man. I feel like it's been a while. I just really do. And I saw all this stuff happening over the weekend, and I thought, oh my gosh, like you wanted to just say, hey, let's go live. Let's go live right now, because it was just happening. So much craziness. My goodness, man. And so glad to be on with you. Excited to talk really all through these. I've got a lot of thoughts, and there's a few things that make me angry.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what's Rob mad about today.
Well, I think what's obvious to me, just based on, and it's not anything breaking news, it's not anything like a new revelation, but it is that, no, there are really people out there, like the Ted Cruz's, your Lindsey Grahams of the world, that they just want war. And if the war isn't exactly done, exactly the way they want it, then they want the war to continue. And we're over here, looking at $5 a gallon gas or something. Yeah. I saw somebody over in California paid $8.
Well, that's California's nuts, right?
But still, it's just this is a conservative person over in California on Twitter was saying, they paid $7.99.
Right. If we're $4.20, I think it's what we're like. We're $4.19 here in the state of Arkansas. That means that it's higher in other places for the most part. Because we just have a really low cost of living here. But I'm pretty sure that the feelings on war were solidified, like the feelings of the masses were solidified in a song that went, "Wah! Huh! Good God, y'all, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing." Right? Yep. I mean, Lindsey Graham, the only reason that he wants the war, let's just be honest, Lindsey Graham is getting rich off of wars. Lindsey Graham is a warmonger. I've said it. I've been screaming it. I pray Mark Lynch somehow knocks him off the perch, because Mark Lynch is an absolute hammer that would be fantastic in the United States Senate. But I don't know. And that's in South Carolina, that primary. When's that election
So that
coming
primary
up?
is June the 9th.
June the 9th.
So 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, so we're coming up on that. Huge primary today in the state of Texas. We've got to get rid of these warmongers and rhinos. Now, I like Ted Cruz overall for the most part. And I know that probably he's coming from what I would say a place of, hey, we've got to make sure that the threat is completely knocked down. But what are you going to do? You're going to blow up the whole damn country?
That's the thing. It's like, I know that's what you want, but that can't happen without either nuking them or going with ground troops, which are going to cost thousands of American lives. Like, it's obviously a stalemate. It's obviously a quagmire, and Iran is not Afghanistan. They're not Iraq. They are a different type of country. They also clearly have, ironically, the topography advantage. And I say ironically because I've made this, this comparison before. The Strait of Hormuz is not unlike the hot gates of Thermopylae with Leonidas, the mighty 300. I know that's a physical battle, but this is an economic one.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're like sending it into this
It's
zone.
And it's ironic because the Iranians are the descendants of the Persians, and they're using a Western tactic
with Xerxes.
Yes,
and he was very effeminate.
And it is what it is. And look, people said that this was not going to be quick and easy. But I think there were some that thought it would be quick and easy, and here we are. And
what conflict? I mean, very few conflicts actually are. I mean,
Venezuela. I think that's like that. Venezuela was, we were in and we were out, but that's Venezuela is not Iran.
You're an ant. Like a Venezuela is just an ant that could be squashed at any moment. It's not Iran. Iran is a power. It's got a lot of weapons. Far as we know, it doesn't have a nuclear weapon, and that's what Donald Trump is trying to prevent. And you gotta ask yourself, so many times I think we all get just really frustrated at the no new wars promises of Donald Trump. You think he just forgot that when he saw something there in the intelligence that he was given, whether it be bad or not, I don't know. What's the word? It was like agenda driven, right? You've got these warmongers who are providing intelligence that is agenda driven. But suffice it to say, in my opinion, that Donald Trump believed that it was necessary. I don't think he's doing it as just some nod to Benjamin Netanyahu. We can do a postmortem about all of that stuff, but I think that we forget. I saw a video that forgets that why Donald Trump is doing this. He ran for president now 3 times. He won. Well, let's just be honest. He won 3 times. Donald Trump won the presidency 3 times. He was given it twice. And he's not taking a salary for this. And he is he benefiting because it's you're the most powerful person in the world? Yeah. I mean, any businessman wants power. It's at a certain point, money just becomes a number. It doesn't really matter if you're a billionaire or a multi-billionaire or whatever. But anyway, I caught myself over the weekend saying, this is the man that I have voted for 3 times. Do I agree with everything? I wish he would stay off Truth Social at midnight. Stay off there. Quit calling these people just because they disagree with you. Lauren Boebert, I don't agree with everything that she's ever said, but I think that she's a patriot. I believe that Lauren Boebert has the best interest at heart. If she was in Arkansas and she was running in Arkansas, I would definitely vote for her. I would have no problem voting for a Lauren Boebert. Do I agree with everything? Do I agree with her backing Thomas Massie? The more and more I see about Thomas Massie, now he's coming out and saying, hey, he said he was not going to run for political office again, but now he's filed for political office to run in 2028. So, and for him to have these principles that he had, I'm going off on all these side tangents here, Paul, but stick with me.
It's been a busy weekend.
It has been, but
this is so much news.
Yeah, all this stuff just kept going through my mind, and I just said, you know what? For Donald Trump to come out so hard against Thomas Massie, it was not because he just disliked him personally. He was coming after him because you are not fulfilling the obligations that the American people elected us to do. They gave us all 3, right? They gave us the Senate, they gave us the House, and we already had the House, but they made sure that we kept the House and the Senate and the presidency. And Thomas Massie was a no vote on all of these times. Like when we needed you the most, you were a no vote. And I found myself increasingly getting frustrated with Donald Trump about some stuff. And then I thought, man, even in our own marital relationships, do you absolutely just love every single thing about your wife?
Yes.
Right? Like, let's be honest. When you have 2 human beings that are different, when you're in a relationship, like it's, they call it the 80-20 rule. And I think I'm closer to a 95-5 with Donald Trump versus a 199 with Kamala Harris. right? I'm a 95.5. Like, I agree with 95% of the things that he does, but this 5% gets so amplified by the leftist media and even by the people on the right who just hate Trump and all of that stuff. This 5% just becomes so, the lead. It becomes the story, right? It becomes the feature. And I just found myself falling in that trap, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This weekend reminded me why I voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
Yeah. Well, I think the 5%, though, is, I don't know what you want to call it. What will, this is on the, Iran war, so I guess we'll just say that's part of the 5%. That's a big one, right? The constant Middle East wars.
Yeah.
Israelis' foreign policy being baked in with American foreign policy. It's a big one that, again, we don't have troops on the ground yet,
Sure.
So yeah, I
have concerns
understand
the
that,
Eric
right?
Kushner thing.
Yeah,
I get all that.
But that's
Jared Kushner.
That's kind of a policy that has been a both party thing for a long time, and so the idea of moving on or doing something different is a big deal, and saying that it's not going to happen, and then we are where we are right now.
Yeah.
In what to me just kind of at this point looks like a stalemate. And I think President Trump knows that that's what it is. I mean, look, I know we can talk about how Iran's decimated, but, the word decimated should mean like defenseless. Okay,
Yeah.
well, so we've won then, and we haven't because, we're not putting ground troops in, and I don't want to put ground troops in. I didn't want this thing in the first place. So I think President Trump is wanting to get something done here. If anything, he knows that this is an unpopular war right now. Polling is showing that. There's a Fox News poll that we covered on Thursday or Friday at a Fox that was showing this now, which I think is significant.
It's
so
yeah,
what the events that unfolded over the weekend, I guess I wasn't able to do a show Friday. Obviously, we were off Monday. The events that unfolded over the weekend, I started, and this was, I think, on Friday, I started seeing these stories and everybody retweeting them. Mm-hmm. It was going crazy that, oh my goodness, there is a rogue Iranian National or Revolutionary Guardsman who has been caught. He has been caught trying to plot an assassination against Ivanka Trump. And, this was a dime a dozen. This is Eric Metaxas's tweet.
Who says he's rogue?
Well, let me just see here.
Right. I mean, like this is the New York Post, but as
an assassination by a terrorist in a twisted plot of revenge. This guy's an Iraqi. He's from Iraq. Mohammed Bayer Saeed Dawood Al-Saadi. It's a long one.
Sorry,
2, 3.
man. I'm not trying to be racist, but that's just what
you got.
Stupidest
you got
crap
5
ever.
names I can't pronounce. But anyway, so this is the story.
How many names do you need?
And you got Eric Metaxas. It's time for President Trump to pull the pin on the grenade and obliterate the Iranian regime. Now, what would that mean? Okay, are you talking about going after their infrastructure? That's what some people say. Obviously, then you have others that are going to be like, well, that's going to permanently hurt the civilians there. They would murder millions of us if they could. It's time for regime change, even if that might mean boots on the ground. Destroying them is America first. So you had stuff like this. You had stuff like this going on, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to be real. Like, this is, what I thought when I saw, and this wasn't the only one. You know what I thought? I was like, man, we must be really close to a peace deal. I mean, that's what I thought, because all of this stuff gets amplified as another reason. We've got to give President Trump a reason
the war machine.
to turn it back on, to get back to bombing, to get back to fighting.
That's a great point.
It was everywhere. It was like a light switch went off, and everybody was talking about this plot.
Yeah.
And I think I'm right in this, because it wasn't until the very next day, on Saturday. By the way, Luke Radowski says, if there is a ploy to get Trump to bomb Iran, they would make a story like this possible. This story could absolutely be true, but I want to know more details. Me too.
Everybody knows that Ivanka is the apple of his eye.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows that. Following it for years, and if you want to float that out there, like, he's a big fan of Barron too, right? He really likes Barron. Yeah. But Ivanka, if you want to float that out there, if you're a war machine that's saying, oh, you don't want to do a peace deal with them, they're trying to kill Ivanka.
Yeah, they're trying to kill your daughter.
Yeah,
So
it's clever.
So that was the day before. The next day, I'm at my dad's birthday party.
Yeah, you
right?
were texting us.
And it was
yeah.
that afternoon. It started to come across. And by the way, it was very interesting. Diverse group of people. Friends, family, getting their take on the war. Guess what? Boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, they don't like it.
Yeah. So you had all these generations.
Yeah.
You're like, I got everybody represented.
Some of the boomer sentiment was shocking. Was not what I expected. Anyway,
were they like enough is enough? Let's.
Well, yeah. I mean, and specifically mentioning Netanyahu's influence over Trump, and then I was like, wow, that's coming from somebody who is 65 or older. You don't see that a lot. Anyway, this is a post from President Trump. So this kind of gives us more context to this other news that we had with Ivanka. He says, I'm in the Oval Office at the White House where we just had a very good call with President Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. Mohammed bin Zayed, I'm not going to read it, the United Arab Emirates. They've got all these other names. I'm not going to go through. Pakistan, Qatar, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, the Arab states.
Yeah.
Okay, the Arab states concerning Iran, and all things related to a memorandum of understanding pertaining to peace. An agreement has been largely negotiated, subject to finalization between the United States of America, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and the various other countries as listed. Separately, I had a call with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, which likewise went very well. Final aspects and details of the deal are currently being discussed and will be announced shortly. In addition to many other elements of the agreement, the Strait of Hormuz will be opened. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this goes out, and we immediately start getting reactions from people like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and Mark Levin. By the way, here's this one from this morning, which is John Bolton of all people.
Hadn't heard that name in a while, ever since his house was raided.
Townhall.com, former Trump advisor says he wants peace talks with Iran to fail. Imagine
Go to
that.
hell. Go to hell. John Bolton, Lindsey Graham, and even Ted Cruz, if he wants this, as much as I like Ted Cruz, y'all can go to hell. Because what are we talking about, Paul? We're not talking about their children going to Iran and invading this country and putting their life on the line for what? Because they might get a nuclear weapon? I think you can do the majority of that with drones if you want to really keep them at bay. But I think that the smartest thing that Donald Trump has done here, sorry about that, I think the smartest thing that Donald Trump has done is listing all of the countries and the leaders and these influential people that are in these countries that are saying, they are with me. Iran, you are on an island alone. Supporters of obliterating the nation of Iran, you are alone, because there's no need to do that. The leaders in the surrounding countries are in agreement. Will they break this agreement? Will Iran break this agreement? Yes, they're going to break it. They're going to break it. But however many years of peace, can we just thank God that we got that? Because these terrorist, crazy people who want to obliterate the West for very simply, they want to obliterate us for who we are, what we worship, all of those things. They want to obliterate us. But why the hell are these people wanting to vote to send ground troops, our children, into this country? Because they might get a nuclear weapon and they might be dangerous. When Japan bombed us at Pearl Harbor, it was black and white, folks. And that is the last time. Paul, don't go into the conspiracies here.
You just raise up. You know what?
We were attacked here.
No. What I'm saying is, you're right. And
where was that attack? At Pearl Harbor.
Right. But what I'm saying is that motivation right there, that black and white event that gets us galvanized and says, okay, we'll send, is that what it takes to get Americans to say, okay, we're on board?
No, because we've had countless wars since then.
Right, but my point being is like this is the stage that we're at. We're at the stage of it doesn't appear that we're going to put ground troops in, and it appears that President Trump is trying to get peace.
Yeah, but it's going to be at the begrudging whatever of John Bolton and Lindsey Graham, and it sounds like Ted Cruz as well. They're so pissed.
Well, here's Lindsey's.
Pissed off.
Lindsey's, if a deal is struck to end the Iranian conflict because it is believed that the Strait of Hormuz cannot be protected from Iranian terrorism and Iran still possesses the capacity to destroy major Gulf oil infrastructure, then Iran will be perceived as being a dominant force requiring a diplomatic solution. This combination of Iran being perceived as having the ability to terrorize the Strait in perpetuity and the ability to inflict massive damage to Gulf oil infrastructure is a major shift of the balance of power in the region, and over time will be a nightmare for Israel. Also, it makes one wonder why the war started to begin with if these perceptions are accurate. I personally am skeptic of the idea that Iran cannot be denied the ability to terrorize the Strait and the region cannot protect itself against Iranian military capacity. It is important we get this right. So while we're trying to get peace, you have Lady Lindsey Graham out here counter-signaling Trump, undermining Trump, trying to say, no, we can't do this. And you know fundamentally what it's about? His whole worldview was dependent on the idea that America is a superpower and Iran is a third world country with that doesn't have a conventional military. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Iran does have a conventional military.
Yes.
They have been planning on this. Now, we're not to the level where it's mutually assured destruction, which is one of the reasons they probably want a nuclear weapon, because then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now the whole world has to say, you're allowed to have your borders, you're allowed to have a country. Now I know there's the whole, are they theocratically crazy and nuts and want to bring it the end times? Like, I get there's that whole other thing. But of course my position is I'm skeptical of that. I just am, at least. I think the radicals in the middle and in the very low believe all that, but I think there's something called self-preservation with these people, and just like with anybody else, I really do. I think there's a self-preservation aspect to it where you want to stay in the lap of luxury, you want to keep control of your country, and if you were to actually nuke another country, it would literally mean the end of your civilization for real this time. But anyway, that's honestly another argument for another time. But the fact is, President Trump is saying, he's the guy who's trying to say this is the direction we're going. And over the weekend, he was completely undermined by somebody like Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham, Lady G. I hope that people of South Carolina. I think it's amazing that he continues to show his true colors, and I love it. I love that he's showing his true colors, because I want you to think about this. If you have a 19-year-old enlisted son or daughter in the state of South Carolina, you need to be watching this man's tweets. You need to be watching this man's post. Because if that is the elected representative that you are sending to Washington, to continue to send to Washington to beat that war drum, if that's who you are doing, you are putting your children, your grandchildren, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, all of these people that are enlisted, that have the potential to go over to seas to fight this, whether they are boots on the ground or not, they are in danger if they are enlisted. If they can be called up at any moment, whether they are literally having boots on the ground right now, they are in danger. I pray that the people of South Carolina are looking at this crap, and that Mark Lynch is a great alternative for the people. This man must have massive padding of his pockets from the war machine, because there's no other excuse for why the hell he wants to keep attacking everybody. Hell, he wanted to blow Russia. He wanted to go after Russia. And what did he say?
Putin. He wanted to assassinate.
He said we
Putin.
need to blow them. We need to blow them all, right?
Yeah.
Right? And
Blow
there's
them
all
all
kinds.
to hell.
There was all kinds of sexual references when he did all of that stuff. But he wants to just blow up Putin. What the hell? That man has the most nuclear weapons of any country on the face of the planet. What are you doing? Quit listening to Lady G.
It just shows you how fragile, too, his whole worldview is. Like, the idea that this ends with, oh, yeah, this country is still a country with its own borders and sovereignty is unacceptable to them. but it also goes to show you how the whole Lindsey Graham's entire plan was all about escalation. This was not they all knew it. This was, well, let's get involved and let's start dropping the bombs, knowing that they can't actually get the type of regime change they want with just bombs, knowing that this will have to cost American lives. And it's already cost 13, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm remiss that I didn't mention that as we were celebrating Memorial Day or going into Memorial Day weekend, because that's 13 that we know of.
Yeah.
But here's Jack Posobiec in response to this. Many of the people who urged the president into Iran intervention in the first place are the first to oppose his negotiations.
Yep.
Not only is this ungrateful, it undercuts all of Operation Epic Fury's military successes.
Thank you, Jack. That is exactly my rant. My whole rant could be solidified right there. The same people who are pushing us into a war with Iran are the same ones who don't want it to end. Those people are not good for this country.
And again, I have intentionally not covered what's going on with Iran. I don't know if you guys noticed. The last show we did was probably a month or so ago when the strait was open. It was closed. It was open. It was closed. And I got so frustrated with this Middle East fatigue, I made an intentional pivot on this program to stop talking about it and start trying to highlight the domestic issues and even some of the small successes that we're having here domestically. And on this show, because it was a big news day, we're talking about it. But again, like, the longer this goes on, the harder it is to win the midterms. The harder it is for us to have any chance at whatever's left on the agenda. For us to have any chance of it getting codified or passing.
There's nothing.
Trump doesn't need to be impeached. Okay, like that's where we're at with that as well. So again,
they've already said they're going to do it, Paul.
Yeah, they are. And so, we need gas prices to come down. We need folks. The inflation at the grocery store is insane. I saw a guy post a video today. He bought one onion. He bought it was a $37 roast. It was like $36 roast. He bought that, an onion, a couple of cans of canned vegetables. It was like $47. He was like, folks, we can't do this.
Yeah.
I bought 6 things. And I paid $47 for it. It's insane. And with the gas up, obviously that translates to food, down the road. Oh, Mike Pompeo. Okay, the deal being floated with Iran seems straight out of the Wendy Sherman, Robert Malley, Ben Rhodes playbook. Pay the IRGC to build a WMD program and terrorize the world. So Mike Pompeo comes out of the blue. Mr. Ozempic himself.
Oh, he's hurting. His feelings are hurt.
Yeah, he is.
He's in his feels. Mike Pompeo, I was a fan of him in Trump 1.0.
Yeah, but he ended up being a snake.
He ended up being a snake, and we didn't know it.
Yeah,
we didn't know it. Donald Trump Jr. said it best. He goes, as crazy as it was that we didn't win in 2020. Right, we did, right? Like, the conservatives won, Donald Trump won in 2020. But as crazy as it was, he goes, I wouldn't have had it any other way, because what it did is it allowed us to get even more swamp creatures out of D.C., or at least out of Trump's administration. I've not really seen a whole heck of a lot of swamp creatures. I've seen people who are inept, i.e. Pam Bondi, right? I've seen that, but I haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of swamp creatures, but they all came out. John Bolton? How the hell was John Bolton ever trusted with anything? That dude wants to blow up the damn world.
Well, and then why again? I know he's been indicted, but it's so frustrating. Like, Bolton's been indicted, and yet these people are still going on CNN to give comments.
That just blows my mind.
Like, they're still legitimate. And it's absolutely maddening.
Yeah.
Aaron McIntyre. So we're primarying Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, and everyone else who turned on Trump tonight, right?
Well, listen.
No.
No. I mean, yeah, we are primarying Lindsey Graham.
Right. But Trump has still endorsed Lindsey Graham, right? So
Yeah.
that's another. I don't know what you want to call that.
I don't know. I will never understand.
I'll never understand it ever. Derek Evans, former J6er, crazy to see how many U.S. senators are upset with potential peace. I hope everyone sees them for exactly who they are. I can't believe the way some of them are acting. Looking at you, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz. Then we get to Mark Levin. Now, this is interesting. At Retard Finder, or at I Find Retards over on X, notes that liberal beta male Harry Sisson and Mark Levin seem to be aligned on their outrage over the proposed peace agreement.
Yeah, Mark, I'm looking at you, Mark. If you are aligned with that butt pirate there known as Harry Sisson, if you are aligned with him,
now he's straight, right? Is he straight, or is he officially out of the closet? I guess I should say. Like, is he?
Paul.
Is he?
Paul.
Okay.
Paul.
Look, I mean, I'm totally fine with making assumptions like this. I did the other day on who was that guy on Tupac. And Justin.
Oh, I heard that. That wrecked my world when Justin I heard that Pearson. Tupac was gay.
Well, he could have been. It was, very interesting. But anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, regardless, Harry Sisson, he may present as a person who likes women.
There you go. He presents.
Okay? He presents as a person who likes women. Mark Levin. You need to do your Mark Levin. You haven't done that in a while. But Mark Levin.
History teaches us that peace deals are best made after the enemy is defeated or surrender.
Oh my God! Mark Levin is one step from Adolf Hitler with his we gotta destroy him. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. And I'm like, Mark, I agree with you on a lot of things, dude, but you got to chill the hell out. We can't blow up the entire world when the enemy is defeated or surrendered. What does that mean, Mark? What does that mean? Are you standing in the Capitol with a weapon drawn directly on the leaders?
Yeah, I mean, and again, at some point you've got a problem with topography. I mean, I'm sorry. The Strait of Hormuz is what it is.
What is defeated, Mark?
It's not very wide. They have control of it. It is what it is. And if you take out unless you are standing, and by the way, we're forgetting that the nation of Iran is the size of Western Europe. This is a giant country.
Yes.
So even if you got one of the cities or the main city, Tehran, and you were, you had our flag waving about it, you destabilize it to the point where then it becomes sectarian, and then you don't have any strongman that can tell people to not drone the ships coming through. Yeah. You still have to have some form of government there that can control. So your only other option is nuking them or literally fighting another 10-year war at least, and going town by town and costing thousands of American lives. And you know what? In the meantime, the Strait is going to still be bombed.
So what do we have? We have the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, which we don't hear much about, right? The Civil War, and all of these wars in the 21st century where there has been some sort of surrender, right? Okay. Adolf Hitler's surrender was down in that bunker and put a bullet in his head, allegedly.
Actually, there's documents now that suggest he did make it to Argentina.
He's alive. Him and Ava Braun.
I don't know about Ava.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's not alive now.
But regardless,
yes,
Germany.
I see what
Germany
you're saying.
surrendered.
I see what you're saying.
Mark Levin has got his head in the past here on this whole thing, like where you surrender and you send your sword. You send your sword to the other side. That just doesn't happen. The supreme leader of imperial leader of Japan, whenever Japan surrendered, right? What did he say? The war effort has not gone on in our favor, right? But they surrendered. They gave up their arms. So Japan doesn't. Iran is never going to do that because we're the devil. We're the devil to them, right? These Muslim terrorist Muslim nations, we are the devil. There is this mythical, historical version of surrender doesn't happen. And that's where Mark's at. He thinks that that's what happens. Yes, Donald Trump, we'll give you whatever. Yeah, they might say that behind the scenes, but they'll never say that publicly, ever. And so you think that they're going to do that? Mark, you got your head in 1865, in 1812. You got your head all the way back in all of these wars where that type of surrender just doesn't exist anymore. The surrender for Iran is, What other options do we have here?
This was on the 23rd. Israeli officials say U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff is trying to secure an agreement at any cost and is the one pressing President Trump not to resume fighting. Mark Levin. Houston, I think we have a problem.
Oh, my God.
It's like, come on, man. What are you talking about?
You have a problem.
So,
you have a problem
anyway,
because you just want to blow them off the country.
This is just a result. It's showing.
I'm just done.
It's showing what we already know.
I'm just done with the warmongers.
No, I know, but this is.
I've said it a million times.
Look, this is a reason why Nikki Haley did not get the nomination for president of the United States.
100%.
Right, and yet we're already way further in than we should have been. And and it's totally derailed a lot of the domestic agenda.
Well, as I said, I've got a 15-year-old son who talks about joining the military. That's all he wants to do is to join the military. And I don't want people like Lindsey Graham and certainly Mark Levin with his bull crap. You know, this is terrible. You know, and does he still get a Fox hit? I don't even know if he still gets a Fox News hit.
He still has a Fox show on the weekends.
Oh, Lord,
man.
have mercy!
It's very, very poorly reviewed.
I can't stand. Yeah,
very
I can't stand
ratings.
listening to him. But you know, give me a Brett Baer. You know, get just the news, man. Just give me just give me that any day. But anyway, I've got a 15-year-old son who talks about going to the military, and I don't want a Lindsey Graham in charge of my son's future. I just don't.
Amen. Absolutely. I mean, and it was everywhere. You know, you had so many of these tweets. I'm just letting you guys know. It was the knives were out over Memorial Weekend. David Vance, Lindsey is right in what he is saying. Read it. No matter how you try to cut it, any deal. Listen to how crazy this is. Any deal short of the total destruction of the regime is a betrayal.
A betrayal.
A betrayal.
Oh my God.
Any deal. Do you realize how many American lives these people are talking about playing with?
What are you doing, man? Yeah,
I don't know
what are
who
you
this
doing?
is. If President Trump signs the deal, he may as well have never exited the JCPOA because this one is worse in every possible way.
Who is that person? I don't even.
I don't know. I'm just somebody compiled these. If the U.S. agrees to release funds or lift sanctions in exchange for the regime reopening the Strait of Hormuz, then Washington will have effectively accepted defeat, and there will be no way to spin it.
Yeah,
I don't even care. Saeed. I don't care what the spin is, honestly, at this point. And then you had, along with that, you have people like this. Let me see. So I don't know who Max Twain is, right?
It's not Mark's brother,
but you had people starting to attack Trump with this AI image of him bowing before an Iranian Ayatollah. Right?
Oh my God!
This is what was going on over the weekend, God. And I just thought this all because you had a conversation with the Arab nations, said it went well, had a conversation with Israel, also said it went well. And said that, hey, we think we've got something here. And X went absolutely nuts. And again, keep in mind of the timeline. It is the timeline here that has me. I'm sorry. This is what I think happened. There were rumors that peace was near. So all of a sudden, we get this story about Ivanka Trump potentially getting assassinated.
It's almost like the October surprise.
Yeah,
it's in that same mentality.
Oh no! You don't want to do this. Look, they'd kill your daughter.
They'll
if they
kill
could.
your daughter.
Then we have the what do we got? We have the news. Okay, well, we may have peace. Then you have the total meltdown. Then you have this. And by the way, all of this was happening on the heels of Tulsi Gabbard announcing her resignation, which was
awful.
Awful. Yeah, and
we understood why.
Matter of fact, we're going to take a break. We're going to reset. We're going to come back and talk about Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay.
Sound good to you?
Sounds good.
Okay, don't go anywhere, folks. This is the Paul Harrell Program. Back here in just a moment after a quick break. Thanks so much for being with us.
For centuries, light has been used to heal. Awaken the body with Red Vive.
The other things that we're seeing, more and more use for is even vascular issues. So one of the mechanisms that red light, near infrared light, or Red Vive works is stimulation of the mitochondria and stimulation of nitric oxide production. So when nitric oxide is released in cells, it vasodilates cells. It reduces inflammation. It moves blood. It brings blood flow to areas. So folks that have issues with ulcers or burns or wounds, it can help stimulate increased blood supply, and you need blood to heal. So that can open up different avenues for peripheral artery disease, for neuropathic pain syndromes. And so that's one of the other areas for nerve injury or nerve pain that we can leverage this type of medicine.
This is our family dog, Bubba. He is a Shorty Jack Russell, and he brings a lot of love and laughter into our home. We just want to thank Pet Club for making healthy food and treats for our animals. Bubba has been on Pet Club food for a little over a year now. He really likes the Sequoia dry food, and then I put a scoop of the Sequoia wet dog food in there with some hot water and stir it up, and he absolutely loves it. And he likes the mush puppies, but his ultimate favorite is the antlers. Those keep him busy for a really long time, and he really likes them. It makes us feel really good that the food and treats that we give him have healthy ingredients in them, because we want him to be around for a really long time. Our previous dog was a lab, and his name was Titus, and we fed him in bulk, and we would just get his food from the big box grocery stores. And unfortunately, that food wasn't very healthy for him, and he ended up getting cancer and passing away. So we didn't want to make that mistake with Bubba, so we were really fortunate to find Pet Club and find some really healthy food for him to eat. So we would just like to thank Pet Club, and we just really appreciate the healthy food that they make, so we can keep this guy around as long as we can.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy, a life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Harrell program.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. I know I did. Barbecued my little socks off and had a blast. Rob, did you spend any time? What'd you do on Memorial Day?
Okay, so on Saturday, I smoked a Boston butt. On Memorial Day, yesterday, I grilled out and got myself in my feels a little bit about something, and wasn't planning on talking about it. But since you brought it up, I'm going to talk about it.
Go for it, brother.
We've got this great back area with a deck and this pergola and these lights and all this. So it's really cool. So my wife adds this great birdhouse out there to bring in the birds, right? And then several weeks later, she adds 2 cats to our house. Okay, and I just said, listen, honey, I'm worried about these. It's like the lambs to slaughter here. You've brought these birds in here, and now we've got these predators. And sure enough, it happened, because those cats will bring you. They bring you the carcass, right?
Yes,
They bring it to you.
Good servants.
And they brought this little bird up there, and he was all bloody and all that stuff. And I just said, well, I'm a 46-year-old man, and I'm about to cry about this bird, because I feel guilty, because we brought this bird, we brought this bird in here with this bird feeder. It's like we brought them in here to our predators. And I got really upset about it. And so I had about an hour there where I I just kind of zoned out and got real frustrated. My wife had to come ask me if I was okay. I just said, I'm really disappointed in us. I'm disappointed in what we've done, And so, yeah, has nothing to do with it. Memorial Day has nothing. It just happened yesterday.
You just had a wake for a bird.
I'm still a little salty about it today. Just to be honest with you.
Well, it's one of those things. This circle of life, as they say.
No, that's what my wife said. She said it's the circle of life, and I said, listen, are those cats going to eat that bird? No, they're not going to eat that bird. They just killed it for no reason, just to say they did it, just a trophy.
Wow.
Move on. I can't handle this.
That's great. So real quick, I don't mean to belabor the point,
right.
So you want the cats and the birds to be separate. You want either no cats or no birds.
I can't stand cats. I don't like cats anyway. We got a dog. We got a lab, Bucky boy. I go get him on Wednesdays. We know. Now I don't have to miss the show to go get him. But
anyway. Okay. Well, anyway,
you understand. I want these cats to stay away from these birds.
I got you.
Leave them alone.
I understand.
If you're going to kill them and eat them, okay. Even though these cats are well fed, you're going to kill them and eat them. All right. Well, what can I say about the circle of life? But you're just killing them to be killing them.
Yeah. Well, so we got a cat. I'm not a cat person at all. But this
somebody said give Rob a tampon. I can't deny that.
I think most men listening to this are like, what in the heck is going on?
I was just listening. That cute little bird. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh man.
Well, so we got a cat. I went on a deer hunt for 4 days and came back, and there was a cat that my family had picked up, and they know. I mean, if I'd have been there, there's no way. But this cat, I've always not liked cats because cats are not like dogs. But for whatever reason, this cat is like wants affection, will come when you call it. And we had some snakes. We had some rat snakes, that got born in the spring. And she ferreted those things out. So, if anything, that's a good service because I hate snakes.
They've killed about 5 moles in my yard, and the moles in my yard make me feel unchristian-like. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I hate them. I
say some unchristian-like things with moles.
Okay, so Tulsi Gabbard, we got news over the weekend. When was this? Was this on Friday too?
That's right. Yeah, tell us how you feel about this in the comments, and I will try to read some of those on air as we wrap up this story.
So, as we've said, Tulsi Gabbard has been really just a consistent bright spot within the Trump administration this entire time. Under Tulsi Gabbard, we have found out about the Obama and how he ordered the fake intelligence assessment that basically corroborated the lies of the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Mm-hmm.
We know also now about Eric CIA Ramella, who, by the way, I think was involved in that, but also involved in Trump's, Ukraine impeachment over the phone call with Zelensky and everything else, and how that was moved on without evidence and coordinated with the Democrat chairman of HIPSI, Adam Schiff. So we know a ton, and there have been criminal referrals referred to the DOJ. Tulsi Gabbard has done her job, and she's not finished yet. She's got another 34 days left on her job. She says she's going to continue to unveil and uncover a lot of things. We hope that she does. There have been people, the same people that are all for a war with Iran, that could spiral and out of control, are also ones that appear very skeptical of Tulsi Gabbard because she has been an anti-war voice, somebody that fought in Middle Eastern wars herself and went over there and served. She has a perspective that a lot of this is should be handled diplomatically, and it is what it is. So you had the reports that she was going to be fired. You even have some people say that that's exactly what this news was, that she was actually fired, but this was President Trump being gracious. I don't know. The official line is her husband has a rare form of, is it blood cancer or bone cancer?
Bone cancer.
And he's got to fight this, and so she's going to resign to be with him during this treatment.
Well, in a government job, if you're not familiar, especially if you're a cabinet person here. A government job is just it's a lifestyle. It's not a job.
Right.
I mean, you live and breathe this thing. There's really not days off.
Yeah.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders, our governor, she wrote a book about, basically a car pulled up. She got a call on Christmas Day, and a car pulls up and says, "Hey, come get in the car." And it was taking her to a plane. She couldn't tell her husband or her kids. She was leaving on Christmas Day. She couldn't tell them where she was going because she didn't know. She didn't know until she was in the air and they were going over to the Middle East to celebrate with the soldiers on Christmas Day. She had no clue, right? That's what it's like to be a cabinet person, or in her case, press secretary. But that's what it is. So if these reports are true, which it sounds completely legitimate to me, that if your husband or your spouse of any kind is dealing with a rare form of cancer, what are they going to do when you're just not there?
Yeah.
Right? You're just not there. And then, so what I look at is Donald Trump's post about her versus other people who have left his administration, whether it be Trump 1.0 or the second one.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's literally no way you could be mad. If you're President Trump, there's no way you should be mad or unsatisfied with Tulsi Gabbard, because she's literally proven that you were framed for treason. Mm-hmm. And that there was a color revolution run by the intel oligarchy against you and the American people.
Yeah.
We now have that. Now we're going to be sitting down soon with the chairman of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Congressman Rick Crawford. We're going to be sitting down with him soon, and I believe next week you'll get to hear that interview here on LFA TV and YouTube and Rumble.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who the replacement is.
Well, that's the thing, is Congressman Rick Crawford is on a short list of
four names that I saw.
Yeah, of potential replacements.
Now, whether that's the real short list or not,
who knows? He would be a great fit because he's already worked well.
Do you think he would take it?
I think he would. Yeah, I would hope so. Just the fact that it was Rick Rick was the one sitting on this report that he and Devin Nunes compiled, but Nunes could be a replacement, by the way. Nunes could replace Tulsi as well.
He's definitely a favorite of Donald Trump.
And he stepped down a couple months ago from the Truth Social job that he was at, CEO, I think.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of moving pieces here. I am upset. Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed. I'm going to take the reports at face value. I think, obviously Tulsi Gabbard now has a pathway to go run for whatever she wants to run for. And the neocon pro-war in the Middle East, flank of the party, they're not going to support her at all, right? Obviously.
Right. But I think that the true conservatives, the true patriots, realized what she was doing. Like the people that that elected Donald Trump and all of these people are like, hey, we're tired of the swamp.
Yeah, well,
give us a Tulsi Gabbard.
And to actually highlight all of the great work she's done, we can best do that by showing you a report about how the CIA was spying on everything she was doing, even down to the keystrokes on their computer. Independent journalist Catherine Herridge filed this report over the weekend as well. Headline, exclusive, strong indicators CIA was tracking DNI Gabbard team emerged months ago. Based on my reporting, she writes, it was well known in national security circles that a CIA investigative unit had sent emails to several members of DNI Gabbard's Directors Initiative Group, or DIG, demanding they come in for questioning. Mm-hmm. While the CIA unit routinely conducts polygraphs and investigations, the timing of the request was concerning. It did not appear to be part of a standard security clearance review. The alleged CIA monitoring of Directors Initiative Group was described by tracking every keystroke on their government computers and devices. Now, we know these programs exist because of Edward Snowden. He revealed a program called X Keyscore that does just that, even your delete button. So while there is no expectation of privacy on government computers and users often see a login on warning, it did not appear to be routine counterintelligence work by the CIA. In recent testimony before the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, chaired by Senator Rand Paul, CIA senior operations officer and whistleblower James Erdman III alleged that the CIA illegally spied on the computers and phones of Directors Initiative Group, along with their investigations and contacts with whistleblowers. The dig investigated. Now, what were they investigating? JFK assassination, RFK assassination, MLK assassinations, the origins of COVID-19, Crossfire Hurricane, how Obama framed Trump for treason, the Biden administration's domestic surveillance, and then anomalous health incidents and unidentified aerial phenomenon. So UAPs and anomalous health incidents have to do with supposed direct energy weapons. Or these next-gen weapons, Havana syndrome. We'll talk more about this. So Erdman, the whistleblower, provided detailed testimony about the DIG's investigations into directed energy attacks, also known as Havana syndrome or anomalous health incidents. This was not the first time the CIA appears to have been monitoring DIG communications. Individuals involved in our AHI investigation discovered third parties were listening in on secure phone calls at intelligence community facilities. In one instance, it was during a conversation with a whistleblower. These incidents were also reported in counterintelligence channels, and DNI IT experts confirmed that reproducing what occurred on the secure phone calls required an IT engineering work order. Someone had to request a technical change to the infrastructure. During its investigation of AHIs, again, directed energy weapons, my reporting reveals additional allegations that the CIA denied DNI Gabbard's investigators access to key analysts and officials still working in the CIA building, as well as relevant, highly classified intelligence held in compartmented programs. I also understand that requests to review internal CIA correspondence communications regarding the Biden-era AHI intelligence assessments included whether the intelligence was manipulated and the findings altered. That was blocked. Wow. The Biden-era intelligence community assessments concluded it was unlikely that a novel weapon or foreign adversary was responsible for the debilitating brain injuries suffered by spies, diplomats, military personnel, and some civilians, injuries that can lead to brain cell atrophy and death. As I reported in February, a dig report and findings into directed energy attacks were finalized and prepped for release, but there was strong intelligence community resisting it. We're still hopefully going to get that report between now and when Tulsi Gabbard leaves. The report is still not public. Judicial Watch is suing for the records. She goes on, based on her reporting, DNI Gabbard's task force into weaponization and politicization found that the analytic tradecraft used by the intel community under Biden was defective. And it just goes on and on and on.
So Catherine, a lot of us remember Catherine Herridge. So she was on Fox, and then she went to, was it CBS?
I think so.
And then she poked the bear at CBS and lost her job.
Yep.
And so I have seen very, very few reports from Catherine Herridge that I would question, because she's just got really good sources here, and she seems to be at the bottom of it. But it goes to the overall point here that the swamp doesn't like it when they're being monitored. And Tulsi Gabbard was coming in. She was coming in as the hammer. And what did we see? And so we're seeing this in the comments as well, and I'm going to read some of these in just a second. But what did we see Tulsi do? She almost immediately confirmed what we all knew, that Barack Obama had ordered this fake intel report. She confirmed all of this. Now we're still waiting on the perp walks, but the DNI doesn't arrest people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So she's got to send that to the Justice Department. But where is that accountability? I hope that it comes from all of the work that she's done.
Yeah, I mean, like you're exactly right. In a perfect world, you already have a DOJ. Pam Bondi wouldn't have dragged her feet. I don't think Todd Blanche, I mean, he's done some good things that are surprising, but I don't trust Todd Blanche. The point is, she has fulfilled her role in the way that Republican voters expected her to do.
Correct.
Now, are there more conspiracies? Thomas Crooks, everything else? Yeah, there's more stuff, but she has fulfilled her role in a way that I think most people who believe that the government is corrupt and constantly lying to us and they always get away with it. And so she's performed that role well. And it was up to the DOJ to do something about it.
Right, and Rick Crawford sat in that chair and said, I was so relieved that finally I was asked about this information because Rick has been on the Intelligence Committee for how many years since
he was on the committee during the first Trump administration.
I want to say 2018. That's the date that comes into my head. I feel like that's what he said to us, but regardless, he's been on there for 8 years. So he had all this information. He was so frustrated that Adam Schiff would get this intelligence, many of it classified, and then go out and speak to the gaggle of reporters. And he was so frustrated by that. So Adam Schiff needs to be arrested as well, as we've talked about. But anyway, so Rick Crawford said he was so relieved that the DNI would actually, hey, let's investigate this further. And she requested some information. He said, I'll bring it to you right now. Right? And so that's our local Congressman, Rick Crawford, and he's right in the thick of it. Also, Tom Cotton, our Arkansas senator, is also the Senate Intelligence Committee. So we're all involved in all of this stuff. Tulsi was such a huge, important part of that. And I don't think that people truly realize how much of a shakeup she was doing behind the scenes.
Well, normally, yeah, you're exactly right. Normally, I can't say it's unprecedented because I don't know. I think it's unprecedented in terms of public reporting. The DNI, which is supposed to be able to monitor the intelligence from the CIA and the other redundant intelligence agencies, most of the time, from what I can tell, the CIA knows that the DNI is on their side.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because
they're kith and kin.
The NSA knows the DNI is on their side.
Yeah.
But this was the first time where it was very obvious that the Director of National Intelligence knows there's corruption, illegal activity, and wants to know where the bodies are buried, and are now going to use her access because she has access to all of what they have.
Yep.
And the CIA said no. In this instance, the CIA always wins.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. But what Tulsi was doing was she was airing dirty laundry. And they didn't like it. There's dirty laundry that exists, of course, that we know that it exists, but it happens behind the scenes and they cover it up. Tulsi was airing that dirty laundry, and it's so disheartening because to have somebody like, do you think? I feel like the next person is going to fall short of what Tulsi was doing. I'm going to read some of these comments here. Logan 23 was like, Tulsi was amazing. Wanda Wilson, she was saying that I really hate that she's leaving. She's one of the good ones. And, others going on. No Wimp say, I hate to see her go. Also, I'm so sorry. No Eva Braun, which is funny that,
that's funny.
That's somebody's handle. No Eva Braun. I'm so sorry about Tulsi's husband. That's awful. I also think it's possible to give someone cancer, given the dedicated of research. I'm sure. Just saying. So there's another conspiracy theory. Like, hey, we can't kill Tulsi? Maybe we could take her out. I don't know.
Who actually said that? Who said that in the comments?
Ava Braun is the person in the comments.
No Ava Braun.
That, so.
I'm just going to keep it real.
Yeah.
That was my first thought.
Are you serious, Paul?
Yeah.
You thought somebody gave her husband cancer?
That was my first thought.
Okay.
There's been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Ronald Reagan was given Alzheimer's after he left office, so that he would no longer be a political force.
That's incredible. Yeah.
So I don't know, but the idea that they don't have weaponized forms of cancer is naive. I would say they 100% have weaponized forms of cancer. If that's your goal, you would that would be like one of the first things you would study, try to develop if you're an intel agency and you're going against theoretically you'd be going against foreign interests or the Soviet Union or whatever, and then of course it gets weaponized against own Americans because no government, and I'm going to say this again with maybe the exception of a few, like North Korea, but governments are not monolithic, and we forget that. We like to assume our government's not monolithic. Our government's in this soft civil war, a cold civil war right now. Other governments are the same way right now.
Well, we've said it. We've said it a million times. Do you think that the senators and members of the House and the president are actually in charge? You know?
Yeah. No.
I mean, because there's this behind the scenes swamp. You know, whatever you want to call these bad names for these individuals, but they've got agendas, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
they're going to, and it's all about power. It's all about control, and it's all like, yeah, we'll let you be a senator. We'll let you, or no, we don't. We don't have enough dirt on you to allow you to be a senator.
Yep.
You know, Bad Moon said, I was talking to my barber yesterday, and we decided that the America is on the road to recovery if we can hold the nation good for the next 24 years. And I'm assuming that's in reference to, you know, maybe J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio for 8 years. Like if there's some math there or something, I don't know.
Interesting.
But anyway, you know, our chat is overwhelming. Like, I don't see anybody that's against Tulsi here whatsoever. I mean, everybody is
well, and I think that's, you know, like, that's why we were well, when the news first broke, I assumed she had been fired, and but I didn't know the details. I had just heard, and I assumed she'd been fired, and I was like, wow, that's a terrible mistake, just with the base. But apparently she wasn't fired. Obviously, President Trump tweets or posts on Truth Social that he wishes her the best and that she's done a good job.
Well, what was that movie where someone was given a fake AIDS diagnosis and they killed themselves? Oh my gosh! Somebody help us in the comments there. There was a movie where there was an individual that was given this fake AIDS diagnosis so that he would be out of the picture, and he killed himself. And he was, you know, whatever, and he was like standing outside of his car, and there's like a lake in the background. If this is striking,
I don't remember that movie.
You know, I really just can't remember what it was, but essentially, like. I wonder, you know, how far they would go. Would they give him a fake diagnosis, or would they go through the effort to, you know, actually give him the bone cancer here? I don't know.
Senator Rand Paul, based on Catherine Herridge's reporting in our CIA whistleblower's testimony, the CIA appears to be illegally spying on Tulsi Gabbard's team, interfering with investigations on COVID cover-up, JFK, MLK, and RFK assassinations, UAPs, etc. We've got to get to the bottom of what they're hiding. Yeah, well, isn't that the whole goal? I mean, you know, JFK famously, reportedly said, I want to shatter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it through the winds. I mean, that is the goal here. That's been the goal since his assassination, and Tulsi Gabbard represented the culmination of that. Let's hope it's not the zenith of that. Let's hope that there's more to come, because our nation is run by the intelligence agencies, and until they are brought to heel and publicly put in jail,
The Net is what they're saying that movie is.
Yes,
I remember that movie. The
Julia
Net.
Roberts, right? Wasn't or no?
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, her competitor at the time.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandra Bullock and The Net, when she, in the beginning of that movie, ordered pizza online at the very beginning of the movie, she was able to order pizza online. That was like
the first iteration of,
I mean, it was like getting beamed
ordering.
up on the Enterprise. Like, that's how crazy it was. Yeah. This lady's so technically savvy that she orders pizza on the internet.
Yeah. I love our chat. They thank you so much. Yeah, they help us anytime we're stuck on, you know, just these the remembering of this.
I agree. The chat,
let's go on to this
awesome.
crazy story. My 15-year-old son has got theories about this. He's bringing this up. I was like, dude, your algorithm is showing you this. He's like, yeah, I went down a deep dive of it, and I was just going on all this stuff. Yeah, he's
all right. So here's the deal. This is Vice Admiral Robert Harward. And he went on Fox News over the weekend, or maybe on Friday. No, this was Thursday. This happened because Eric and I did the show Thursday, and this came on my feed right before we went live. And I said, "That's a mask." Eric and I sat right here and had a debate about it. He was like, "No, that's not a mask. That's a shadow or whatever." And I was like, "Eric, no,
you called it
a mask." And there are still people out there, and I get it. Like a lot of people don't want to say that this is a mask because of the other questions that follow. If it is a mask, it's like, why? How? Like, and I get it, but forget that. Forget the why, although it's incredibly entertaining to think about that. Let's just establish what this is and what it isn't, okay? So he's on there stumping for the Iran war, by the way. And what people have done is, they've looked at this.
So that was 3 days prior?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not like he went in and had plastic surgery in that short amount of time and
Couldn't
they botched his neck.
Couldn't have. Let's see. I don't even know if there's audio.
I get involved, but again, their interests are at play here, but so are European interests, the rest of the Gulf nations, and so far every has time on his hands. He's controls the narrative, he controls the strike capabilities, and he knows.
I mean, the respiratory action here, when he inhales and it's moving, and the guy underneath there clearly looks a lot younger, just based on the skin there. And this, people try to write this off. Well, it's a green screen and it's a shadow. I'm sorry, man. This guy's flapping in the wind, and he looks totally different. Look at what his neck looks like 3 days earlier. It's all wrinkled, the way you would expect.
He looks 15 years younger on the right.
He doesn't even look like the same person.
Right.
And so, there's been, by the way, this is a very well publicized version of this, but there's other instances that have happened. I don't have them pulled, but there's other instances that have happened, not necessarily with him, but with other people where they thought, hey, is this a Mission Impossible style mask? The CIA, back on the CIA, it's documented that they put, they're artists that put people in disguise. It's part of statecraft. It's part of espionage. It's what they do. And so I don't have any answers other than, here's another one. Let's go into a Zoom here. So here's the clip.
Term effects on the regime and the people of Iran. So he's been very astute in leveraging that time. And so I don't see it as negotiations. It really is capitulation.
That's a man, baby.
Yeah.
That's a man.
And so what was interesting about this, Rob, as Greg Stitchfield, he said that he was going to have the Admiral on his show.
Yeah.
He told me personally he is not wearing a mask. Yes, Robert Harward. We called him. We asked him, what is up with this video online that shows this wild cut across your neck that looks like a Hollywood mask? He says he doesn't know what it is. He said he's not wearing a mask. He wished he had a mask, but he agreed. Yes, it looks crazy. So I said, hey, come on the Real America's Voice show tonight. Prove to us you're not wearing a mask. So you know what? The Admiral said he's in. He'll be on tonight, Real America's Voice, 7 p.m. Eastern time. This interview, I'm looking for.
Except for what happened.
He canceled.
He canceled. He's like,
he canceled.
He told me personally he is.
It's like the mask conspiracy gets bigger. Admiral Robert Harward canceled his appearance. He told Greg Stitchfield directly that he would do
Lord.
it. So yeah, he canceled. And this is what Greg Stitchfield said. So adding to the conspiracy, the Admiral canceled.
Mm-hmm.
He canceled. Decided not to do it.
Well, a lot of people said that Biden was wearing a mask for, but I would have imagined he would have been better. If he was wearing a mask, wouldn't he have been better?
Well, it depends. I mean, again, this gets into motivation. Like, why do you do it? Like, if it's some giant demoralization psyop where, and I tell you why. If Biden, if there were actors playing, like for example, when Biden had the Las Vegas medical emergency and he was rushed to the hospital and then rushed to Air Force One, they didn't get to the hospital. The guy that came out the next day was like 6 inches taller than he should have been.
Yeah.
I've often wondered if it was James Comey himself. But then, honestly, I've just often wondered that. I think that'd be hilarious.
Like, hey, I got this tall guy here. But I don't know how he would have changed his voice, though.
But
voice modulators?
The technology has got to exist. But anyway, the point, look at what AI can do right now. I mean, right now, I was given a piece of software the other day. I can tell you about Proposition like radio. Hey, we can use your voice for news stories. Anyway, just speak in, do 5 seconds. It was crazy. I did not agree to that. But the point is, when he came out there, you say, well, if he's wearing a mask, why wasn't he better? Well, the reason is because it was if you are the puppet master, Joe Biden was like a totalitarian's dream because he's in charge.
Yeah.
But he can't
He's
be
not
held
really in charge.
He can't be held accountable. So you are literally able to do all of the evil things you want to do with government, blame it on Biden, and then he's a bumbling idiot and so you don't really know who. He's the shield for the people behind him. And so it's perfect where he gets all the blowback for the open border, but he's a bumbling idiot that can't even, when he's interviewed by the inspector general, he's clearly not mentally fit to be held accountable by the DOJ. That's what they said. So it was a perfect dream. So that's why the characterization of him would still be, would still be bad, would still be, I'm an Alzheimer patient, because it only helps those who are truly in charge never have to face accountability for their own policies.
Yeah, they're saying in the comments too. John Yarder was saying, don't forget I guess it's broken chin, then normal chin, then broken chin again. Like, do you remember anything about the chin with Biden?
No, I remember him having like a weird clump of skin that shouldn't have been frozen, like wrinkled, and then he had like a tab on his ear. I remember that one.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I said before any of the mask talk, I was like, that Joe Biden has different earlobes than the Joe Biden that, debated Sarah Palin.
Oh, sure.
Go back and watch the Sarah Palin-Joe Biden debate. He doesn't look anything close to the president of the United States that we saw for 4 years.
Well, I mean, it's amazing. You can go back to the 90s and how, I thought he was stupid, but Biden was a totally different guy. Like, if you were going to fast forward 30 years, you wouldn't have imagined that the Biden who ended his presidency in 2024, well, really 2025, that's what he was going to look like. He just looked like he looked like a walking zombie, in my opinion.
So, question though, why? Now we could get into the why. Why do you think, if he is wearing a mask, if Harward is wearing a mask here, why do you think he's wearing a mask? I can list off what I think.
Okay.
You want to go first?
You go for it.
All right. I don't know. I can just give you a few possibilities. Okay. Let's go with worst case scenario. It's probably somewhere in between these two. Worst case and best case scenario. Okay. Worst case scenario is that this guy is been unalived and is now being used as a mouthpiece to promote, in this particular interview, to promote more and more war in Iran or wherever we're going to go next, okay? I think that's the worst case scenario.
Okay.
Best case scenario, actually, I'm going to amend it. Worst case scenario, that's some sort of alien underneath there, like not even a human being. I think that might be the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is that Hayward, and again, this is all speculative, that Hayward and others that do this actually have sold their likeness. That Hayward's on a beach somewhere sipping Mai Tais.
Could be.
And says, hey, you want to use me for, pay me X amount and, do a mask. I don't care. I don't have to be there. I don't care what's said in my name. But I do have this career as a vice admiral. I'm credible. But I don't want to have to do the work. And so it's a service that's offered by these media companies that are actively deceiving us, or maybe not even the media companies, but, the intelligence services. So I think that would be the best case scenario for why he's wearing a mask, if he in fact is, and I believe in my own eyes, and I'm telling you, I believe that is a mask. You got anything?
I just...
Or it's going to be one or the other, or a bunch of in-between possibilities there.
It just could. It literally could be all smoke and mirrors, and the CIA, controlling things.
Mockingbird Media,
correct?
Yeah. Operation Mockingbird.
And so, could that be it? I've seen some extremely realistic looking, masks. They're. If you ever want to commit a bank robbery, just order you some of those masks and go in there and do all of that stuff. But anyway, I just think that that looks way too weird.
I mean, his eyes look totally different.
Yeah.
The eyes on the left are not the same eyes.
Like, I would imagine a few less wrinkles, right? Because when you're on television versus on a podcast or something, of course, I don't remember, like the one that's the with the turkey neck here. Where was that? Was that on television or was that a podcast? Or do you know?
Looks like, I mean, just by the lower third.
Yeah, it looks like it's a television as well. So maybe they've just got different. Fox News. If it's Fox News on the right, we've seen all those anchors, and they're all filtered up. Have you ever seen Martha McCallum, like a real picture of what she looks like versus how she's filtered up on the story with Martha McCallum? But anyway, so that's not a surprise that there's less wrinkles, around his eyebrows and all of that stuff. But the neck, I don't know how you could filter all of that, and certainly I don't know how you could make it look like a mask.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, could have gotten. I mean, the mask alone. You can't get the neck is what it is.
What?
The other stuff would have to be a ridiculous amount of Botox. But I think the eyes are different, and I think he's got a wrinkle. He's got these wrinkles right here, right above his eyebrows, that are for the most part totally gone.
Well, Wanda
ears appear to be the same.
Yeah, Wanda Wilson in our chat there brought up a good point. Why is he wearing the same outfit 3 days later?
Ooh, that's a good point.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he is wearing the same shirt.
That's the same shirt, same jacket, Paul.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I don't know, man. But
I don't know.
I mean, we're to the point where just you got to believe your own eyes, and then you formulate your hypothesis after the fact. After we establish, that's not normal. That's not a shadow. That's not some green screen messing up or a lighting thing. And by the way, even if it was, also let's just contend the fact that these guys looked like totally two different people, regardless of the neck flap.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think they look the same. So I don't know. Okay. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, maybe we'll figure it out a different day.
Speaking of a different day. It'll be great tomorrow if I get to wake up, or later tonight.
Later tonight, maybe if it's called.
If John Cornyn is officially retired from the United States Senate.
You have to, if you're a John Thune and all of your allies are being systematically destroyed and taken out of office, like at a certain point, you got to look up and say, well, with my self-preservation, I get it that the people behind the scenes here don't want me to pass this Save America Act, but my self-preservation, like this is my job. I'd like to not be primaried in 2028, and unfortunately for him, he's going to be primaried in 2028. Scott Pressler has moved from Pennsylvania down to Texas, and he's heading up to, what is it, North Dakota, South Dakota?
It'll be very interesting to see what happens when it comes to the voting fraud. And the reason I say that is because in the primary the last time, this program covered with Dr. Andrew Paquette, his reporting on what happened in Bexar County, Texas, where I don't think, I honestly don't think John Cornyn would have beat Ken Paxton in the first primary had there not been that fraud that was at the county level that Dr. Paquette exposed. So what kind of funny business is John Cornyn going to potentially do tonight? Now, some tweets have said that they're looking into independent voters. So because this is a runoff election, if you voted in the Democrat primary between Jasmine Crockett and Talrico in the first primary, you are not allowed to vote in the Republican runoff, okay? But if you are an independent or a Democrat for that matter, or I don't know, they may have closed primaries. But if you are an independent in Texas and you did not vote in the first primary, you may go vote in the runoff. So the Cornyn campaign reportedly has been targeting, very specifically the independent vote that did not vote in the initial race, trying to get them to come out and vote for Cornyn.
Which if you can't win in your own party, right? If you can't win the majority of Republican votes and you've got to step outside of your own party, that should tell you something about whether you should go or not. I have no problem with John Cornyn losing his seat. Somebody would say, well, he's bipartisan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we need more bipartisanship rather than polarization. But I can say this. The Democrats don't know the word bipartisanship unless they're in the minority. They don't work with the conservatives unless the Republicans, unless they have to, because their party's not falling in line, which does not happen very much at all.
Yeah.
Right. Most of the time they fall in line. The very few exceptions that we saw there were the 7 senators who joined to break cloture so that we could get the big beautiful bill passed. So there's going to be some that break ranks, but honestly, I think that's the left allowing it to happen. But Chuck Schumer saving face, being like, "Oh, these 7 Democrat senators, I wish they wouldn't have done that." But when he allowed it to happen,
right,
because if that's not, other than Fetterman, I think Fetterman's kind of walking to his own beat. But if you are an independent who is really left leaning and you're going to vote for Tallarico, who would you rather run against? Would you rather run against Ken Paxton or John Cornyn? I would surmise that you would rather run against a Ken Paxton. And the reason being is because he is a true conservative Republican. He is America first. Ken Paxton is can be, and I keep using this word sledgehammer, but he can be a sledgehammer in that Senate, not a John Thune lackey, right? So if I look at it, and if I'm an independent who really is not really an independent, I'm a leftist, but I say I'm an independent because you don't want the moniker of being a leftist. Then I would rather my candidate run against a Ken Paxton. A John Cornyn is harder to beat. He's an incumbent, and he has worked with the left on some things. So Cornyn can tout some of that stuff, that bipartisanship. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's hard for me to think that you're so desperate that you're going to go for independence, because an independent would have to lean right to want to go for you, right? If they're an independent who's leaning left, you got no chance with them.
Here is John Cornyn from yesterday, Fox News Digital.
You saw what happened to your friend Senator Cassidy a week and a half ago, what happened to Congressman Massey just the other day. How do you prevent suffering the same fate this week?
Well, my situation is different. President Trump has called me a friend and a good man, and we've worked with him closely for both terms of office. So I don't see my situation as the same. But, in the end, it's Texans who are going to make that decision, and we're encouraging everybody to get out to vote. During early voting, and it's looking positive, and, of course, tomorrow is the big day, Election Day. So we're working that as hard as we can.
I know you've gotten along with the president. You've helped pass a lot of his agenda over the years. Yep. But just in the last week, obviously, he endorsed your rival. And just on social media, just in the last 24 hours, he called you again very disloyal. How do you push back, or how do you convince voters in a Republican primary that you're with him?
Well, I don't know how much more with him I could be than 99.3% of the time. I can't interpret what's in the president's mind, but I have been supportive of him because I want him to be successful. I want America to be successful, and I want Republicans to be successful. But in the end, as I said, Texans are the only ones going to be able to make a choice, and I think Texans can be pretty independent.
Yeah. So
you saw what happened.
Polls close in 2.5 hours.
If you're listening in Texas, folks, call. I'm sure if you're listening, you've already voted, but call somebody. Make sure they go out and vote.
Yeah. Call your friend. Call your neighbor.
Here he is from today.
Can I say something just negative about the? I hate to speak about somebody's appearance and all of this stuff, but he just looks like a swamp creature.
Maybe he's wearing a mask, Rob.
Maybe, and he sounds old. He looks old. He just Why the hell do we keep electing? And no disrespect to
it is what it is. I mean, people are just so. You're right. I mean, it's ageist. It is ageist to think this, but it's there's just this it's increasingly obvious that, they're disconnected from reality, the reality of the American experience for Gen Xers and millennials.
Sure.
They just are totally disconnected from it.
Yeah, man. Give me the Tulsis. Give me the Brandon Gills. Give me the J.D. Vances, the Marco Rubios. These people that are still, like, they're old enough to have some experience, although Brandon Gill is really young. He's 33. But Tulsi, she's getting close to 50. J.D. Vance is in his 40s. Marco, I can't remember how old Marco Rubio is, but I would say he's around 50.
Yeah.
All of that. Old enough to have some experience, but not so old that and again, I'm not trying to say anything about just being old. I'm talking about this guy's length of time in Congress. And how many? How many terms as senators does freaking Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer's and Elizabeth Warren's and how the hell? Nancy Pelosi is still in office, right? Ever since freaking 90s. Like, when is it going to end, man? Let's have some new blood in there, and that swamp will have less control, in my opinion, over these individuals because they just don't have as much long-term dirt on them.
Here is more from Cornyn from earlier today.
Ronald Reagan famously said that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction, so that each generation must fight and defend that freedom. Edmund Burke said, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil over good is for good men and women to do nothing. So let's do our part by voting May 26th in the Republican primary runoff. I would appreciate your vote."
So, quoting Reagan to your point, that is exactly the speech I would expect somebody from his generation to give at this point in time. As if it is like 2000 or 1990.
Correct. Like, how many people are going to be voting in this primary today and, early
I was
voting
on the
and all
fence
of that
until
stuff?
he quoted Reagan, and that's what won me over from old Cornyn.
He keeps saying Donald Trump likes him. He said Donald Trump called me a friend. Like, listen, I don't know why Donald's being so mean to me. He called me a friend. Like, dude, it's because you are seen as part of the problem. You are seen as part of this. Like, John Thune. Is John Thune the most... Mitch McConnell had a lot of people frustrated with him and all that stuff, but when the chips, like, for the most part, Mitch McConnell did, in my opinion, did the right thing. Oh gosh! Now I say that I start thinking of three or four different things.
The only thing I can give Mitch McConnell credit for is the Supreme Court and Roe v. Wade being overturned.
Okay,
but I'm not a fan of a lot of these justices and what they're saying now. I think they're going to screw the country on birthright citizenship.
But will you give Mitch McConnell one thing? He could rally his people. Mitch McConnell was pretty good at getting all of his people to vote the way he wanted them to vote. Yes. He was the leader of the party. I don't think John Thune is the leader of the party. I don't think he is the head senator. I don't think he's the one that is in control of the Republican Party.
You may be right. Or John Thune himself doesn't want the SAVE Act to pass. That's what I've been talking about with Eric. Have you ever considered that he does control it? But John Cornyn, Lisa McCaskill, have you ever considered that John Thune is a liar and that he actually doesn't want the SAVE Act to pass, and he's in league with these other senators, the other holdouts, and it's by design?
Politicians aren't liars, Paul. Come on.
I think
you're speaking foreign talk here.
Maybe it's something we should consider. So CNN is at the polls, and they have interviewed a Cornyn voter and a Paxton voter. Let's listen to this coverage.
Let's hear it.
I was torn because I was going to go with Cornyn, but then Trump backed, and I like who he backs, and so I went Republican.
You know what? Screw you, CNN. That is not the average Texas voter. Screw you. I hate CNN. I hate CNN. But that's well played. That's well played. Like, if you've got that in your pocket, if you're CNN.
Yeah, I was going to vote for Kronos.
Kronos.
The Titan that
Lord have mercy.
That was defeated by Zeus.
But
I decided because Trump said Paxton, I voted for him. You know?
No. She didn't just say. She didn't just say because Trump said Paxton. She goes because Trump, backed Paxton, so I voted Republican. Bitch, they're both Republicans. Knock it off.
All right, one more time.
I was torn because I was going to go with Cornyn.
Mm-hmm.
But then Trump backed, and I like who he backs, and so I went Republican.
So the president's endorsement was the deciding
the
factor.
power of Trump's endorsement.
I made one vote, and that was for Cornyn.
And why is that?
Primarily because he's not supported by Trump.
Oh, so President Trump's decision to endorse Paxton went against
Absolutely.
him. And why is that?
I think he's ruined my Republican Party. I think he's divided America. I think he's bad news. And I still lean Republican, so I voted for Cornyn.
Yeah, I mean, so somebody brought up in the comments one thing I did think, this lady in the Beatles shirt, which awesome shirt, by the way, but she, may have just been really nervous. You're being interviewed on live television here.
This is true.
I've
but
never ever been.
It does
on
show
live
you. I'm sorry.
television.
It doesn't give me great confidence in like independent thought at all. When she's like, well, it's going to vote for that guy, but then Trump backed him, and so I'm vote this way. But it does show you. You can't deny, it shows you the power of President Trump's endorsement. And
Sure.
President Trump says, hey, this is where we're going. And so there's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot more ladies like this than there are men like that.
She's not the only one who has voted that way. And CNN wants to, put her out there as some sort of representative of the average Texan in the voting in this primary. But how many times have we seen, good grief, let's talk about 2024 and people that were interviewing black women and just saying, who are you voting for? Oh, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. Well, why are you voting for her? Well, because she's a black woman. Well, yeah, but why are you voting for her? I like her views. Like, what are some of your views? I just, they can't answer it. They're just voting for her because she's a black woman. Well, or Indian or whatever she is. Let's not go down that rabbit trail here, but we could talk about that a different day. But so we got the uneducated voters, the uninformed voters on both sides of it here. But you cannot deny, to your point, Paul, the power of Donald Trump's endorsement. He still has a hold of this Republican Party, whether that second guy, who I really question whether he's a Republican or not.
No, I agree. I think he was one of those independent.
Yeah, he's an independent. He's left-leaning. He hates, if you call yourself a Republican and you hate Donald Trump, you're probably not a Republican.
Yeah.
At least not anymore.
Yeah. Right.
And so that's the two people that they chose to air. I'm sure they interviewed some other people that probably gave way more insightful answers, but they can't do that. They can't be CNN.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and reset here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Alabama and how a 3-judge panel has now ruled that Alabama's new congressional district, the other one was redone because the Supreme Court said, hey, you can't have racially gerrymandered districts, and so the court allowed Alabama to change their map. They changed it. Now a 3-judge panel is saying that map is discriminatory, enforcing the old map back on the state. The old map that the Supreme Court said could be changed in light of their ruling in Louisiana that said you can't have racially gerrymandered districts. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. This is the Paul Harrell Program. Thanks so much for being with us.
For centuries, light has been used to heal. Awaken the body with Red 5.
Why is Red Vibe different? What sets it apart? What sets us apart from the standard red light panels? This is a medical grade device, and what that means is the red light bulbs and the near infrared bulbs have very specific wavelengths. If you think about the wavelength as the medicine, the 635, the 670, the 810, the 850, those were specifically chosen because those are the most powerful effectors of the cells. So those specific wavelengths, when they get into our body, when they affect our tissue, they spike energy production, they help with nerve pain control, they increase stem cell counts. There's very specific mechanisms that those specific wavelengths work at, and that's the medicine. So if you think of, say, medicine as an Advil or a specific steroid or a blood pressure medication, the wavelength is the medication. The other part of that, whenever you take a medication, is dose. Right? So you have the medication. So if you take 1 milligram of Advil, and the average dose of an Advil is 200 milligrams to 800 milligrams, it's not going to work. That doesn't mean the medicine's bad. It just means you didn't take enough. Right? And so even if you have the right wavelengths, first you have to have the right medicine, and then you have to have the right dose. And to have the right dose, you have, in light therapy, you have to have enough energy. So you have to have a powerful bulb. The LED bulbs, or light-emitting diodes, have a specific wavelength, and that wavelength is the medicine. And the wavelengths that have been studied and published on that are the most powerful in affecting healing and the changes that we want to see with our bodies and our health are the 635 wavelength, the 670, 810 nanometer wavelength, and 850 nanometer wavelength. Those are all going to affect the mitochondria, the cytochrome C oxidase, and affect those powerful long-term changes and affect that downstream pathways. And that's what you get with RedVive devices. The highest efficacy, the best wavelengths, concentrated to help your health.
My name is John, and this is my beautiful wife, Lori, and this is our Star Wars Ewok. His name is Scout, and we have Scout for about 11 years now, and we started noticing about 3 years ago, he started slowing down. He was unable to jump on the bed. He was kind of a little bit grumpier, and when my daughters, Macy and Mariah, would take him on walks, he would walk for about 30 yards, and then he'd lay down, and they'd carry him the rest of the way. So I heard about Pet Club 24/7 and about the products from a gentleman that I really trust and share a friendship with. And he mentioned to me that they have products that are going to help him with his arthritis, help him build his immune system. And I said, okay, no problem. Let's try them out. And I kid you guys not, within about 2 to 3 days, we started noticing a little difference. And then we took Scout on a walk probably about a week after we started using the products, the mush puppies, and he would walk the entire way. He would walk at least a mile, and it's just been completely amazing. He's a new dog. He's 11 years old, which is around 80 years in dog years, and he's just happy. He's more energetic. He's not the grumpy old man he used to be, and we're just so thankful. And it was perfect timing because we lost our boxer Yankee about 1.5 years ago, and it was really hard on us. So I'm so thankful for Pet Club 24/7 for the products that they offer. Imagine if you could have your best friend around one more day or one more week or even one more year. I'm so blessed and thankful that we were able to find this company and find these products for Scout. So thank you guys. Give it a shot. We appreciate you. God bless everyone.
The Paul Harrell Program.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks so much for being with us. I want to make sure that you like and subscribe to the LFA TV Rumble channel. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the Paul Harrell Program YouTube page. We would very much appreciate it. Paul Harrell Program. You can also find us on Rumble. Would appreciate it. A 3-judge panel has found Alabama's 2023 map as intentionally discriminatory, issuing a preliminary injunction blocking its use for the 2026 midterms. The map flipped a blue-leaning seat to a red-leaning seat. I don't know why the tweet says 2023 because they just literally did it today. This month. Alabama's done that. So it's an interesting conundrum, Rob, because we're basically in a situation where the Supreme Court said you can't have racially gerrymandered districts. And so now they're coming to Alabama and saying, no, you can't use this. You can't use this map.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I mean, it's going to go to the Supreme Court, but it's going to have to go on emergency because we got an election coming up.
Well, this is so weird because if if you are a state Supreme Court and you are specifically passing something that goes against the United States Supreme Court, as well, like if you're passing something that's in a direct contradiction, how can there needs to be something that just immediately strikes it down, right? Because this is like, whoa, this has already been handled, unless they're presenting it from a different way that the Supreme Court addressed it in the recent decision here. So I don't understand what these, and I don't know what the makeup of this. I would imagine an Alabama Supreme Court is going to be right leaning, but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go to SCOTUS. I mean, I think it's going to, because
that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, this is the United States District Court for the Northern District of Alabama. They're the 3-judge court that
it's not the Alabama Supreme Court.
No,
it's a district court.
It was a federal court, and so it will go up to John Roberts' court. And this says here, Alabama is appealing this morning's 3-judge redistricting ruling. Now, so we're going to watch that. I mean, you knew this stuff was going to happen. They're going to try to do everything they can not to let the South govern itself. It'll eventually work itself out.
Well, the AOC says you just need to pull up on Alabama. Goodness. Just pull up on Alabama.
Can we find that?
It's
I meant to pull that
thing. Like, what is she so? She is that. It just goes to show the northern elitist thing. Like, you have no idea what you're dealing with in the South. We all have guns. We all have guns.
Yeah, listen to this. This is absolutely
multiple
incredible
guns.
When I heard this.
It is time for the North to pull up to the South. It is time for New York to pull up to Alabama.
Do you know how many Southern boys have been waiting for somebody from the North to say this?
I've been waiting on this my whole
life. You know
life.
how many people have been like, oh, yes, they're finally saying it.
Come on down here, Yankee.
The Northern War of Aggression is back.
Lord have mercy.
Part 2.
Hey, listen. Hold up. Pull up for our for anybody that's unfamiliar. It's a term that's coming mostly from the African American community, and it's like you want some? Pull up. Pull up. And it's derived from like, hey, I'm coming to you. I'm gonna pull up where you are, and I'm about to beat your ass.
Or to me, I just think drive-by shooting.
Well, it could be that. Like, it's all together there. But essentially, what she's trying to say is, let's get in the face of these Alabamans and these Southerners, and it's just so ironic that she's talking all this trash while she's standing behind a bulletproof
I
glass.
saw that. I was like, what is wrong? Is she the Pope now?
It is time for the North to pull up to the South.
It's, to me, Paul.
It is time.
Hold up, just a second. To me, it's like the yapping dog who's barking at the bigger dog behind the glass.
Yes.
And then somebody opens up the door and that dog shuts up. She's the ankle biting yapping dog.
That's exactly right.
For New York to pull up to Alabama.
To Alabama.
For all of us to come to Georgia, to Louisiana, to Tennessee, to Mississippi, and let them know exactly what they have uncorked with this injustice.
Yeah.
They think they can draw us out of power. They do not know the sleeping giant that they just awakened.
Man.
Yeah, I believe it.
Not intimidated at all.
Notice she didn't say Arkansas.
No, I noticed that. She didn't. She left it out.
Some would argue that we're insignificant, and she just didn't think about us.
And that's fine, That's perfectly fine.
You know what? Pull up to Arkansas. See what happens, sister.
Yeah. Then pull up to go research the Battle of Helena. You go for it.
Listen, Paul, this is the same type of trash. What's that dude? He was running for re-election in her district in the Bronx. And this was, I want to say it was in 22, but it may have been in 2024. But she was stumping for him and came up, and they were like throwing F-bombs during their like rally or whatever. And the dude lost in huge, just massive fashion because people were like, listen, man, this is just ridiculous. So she speaks in a lot of bluster. The only reason that this lunatic still gets elected, well, there's two reasons. Number one, she has a national name. right? She has thrust herself onto the national name. Now, it's not a national electability. We understand that. An AOC, I would love it. I would love it if they try to run her for president. My God.
Boy, it would be fun.
I'd be salivating.
It would be a fun campaign
because
to cover.
She does not have a national electability. She's number one that. And then number two, she's in an 89% Democrat district. So as long as she's running for re-election, unless there is an extremely strong primary candidate, she's going to keep getting reelected. They said that she was potentially running for Senate because she wanted to take Chuck Schumer's job, but I don't think she's going to do that. I think she would go straight from here to running for president, which I believe that she is going to do.
But just the rhetoric, pulling up, the North's got to pull up to the South. I mean, I've even seen viral videos from black women that are like, you have no idea what she talked about that the South has plenty of YNs that will turn you into Swiss cheese, and then there are the rednecks that shoot birds out of the sky going 50 miles an hour in their sleep.
Yeah, just for fun. Well, the other thing, do you remember the video where she had her fiance who's white sitting next to her on the couch, and he's like reading this statement about white privilege and stuff, and I'm like, dude, get your balls out of her purse, because she's got them right there. She's got your balls in her purse. This is the most emasculating thing I've ever seen in my life. You want to talk about me being upset about the dead bird? Okay, my wife is not making me read a statement on
white privilege.
On white privilege, just because I'm a low testosterone leftist.
Matt Gaetz said that when he was in Congress that AOC was actually, a lot chiller off the camera and would actually
a lot of this is for show.
But she would actually talk to younger members on the Republican side, like Matt Gaetz. But then January 6th happened, and she refused to talk to any of them all of a sudden.
Well, it was their Super Bowl. And they still talk about January 6th, man.
Yeah.
They still talk about it 6 years later or 7 years, however long it's been.
In other news, Eric Daugherty says there's been a rhino betrayal in South Carolina. The state Senate there has blocked the advancing of the 2026 redistricting map there. It would have been a 7R0D map. The vote was 20-24. Nearly a dozen Republicans joined Democrats. People are now saying to Indiana, South Carolina. It appears this will fail, and Democrat Clyburn, who's held a cheated-in seat for 33 years, will get to keep his seat for 2 more.
And that dude's like 88 years old.
Yeah, and this is the list, apparently. We have whoever the senators are in South Carolina. Eric Daugherty says Bennett, Campson, Cash, Cromer Davis, Hembry, Johnson, Massey, Peeler, Rankin, Stubbs, and Zell. These are the Republican senators in South Carolina.
They're state senators here.
Yeah, state obviously. Senators that have essentially, they've done this to save a Democrat seat. And
Clyburn's.
I don't know.
Do you think it's more about Clyburn or it's about the Democrats?
I don't really
because
know.
Clyburn has we can't be naive. Clyburn has a strong hold of the Democratic Party in that state.
Everybody has, and maybe it changes with the day, but most people, when you come to an issue, you can kind of have the minutia view and the 30,000-foot view.
Okay.
I don't know what the 30,000-foot view, political view of these Republican senators are, but I know what it isn't. It is not a 30,000-foot view that believes that their voters' lives are their way of life is under threat by living under Democrat rule. They do not believe that threat is great enough to redistrict out the Democrats when you have the political power to do so. They do not believe that a Democrat-controlled Congress would be a terror to the people of South Carolina, not just the ones in Clyburn's district, but all of them. They don't believe that. They don't believe it's time to use the political power this way. They don't care about their own voters in the way that other people do. I mean, they actually hate them. There's the other. We're assuming that they're voting on principle here and not an actual malicious. It's not. Is it a malicious vote where they actually no, I'm sorry, we don't want one-party rule in our state because, I mean, I don't know, fill in the blank. I just think it's insane with the modern iteration of the Democrat Party as it currently stands that Republicans would ever do this and not use their power to protect their own voters. It's insane to me.
I completely agree with you, Paul. I just don't think that I believe in coincidences anymore. Certainly not in politics, political coincidences. And if I remember this correctly, this vote was after Clyburn announced his reelection bid, right? And Clyburn runs unopposed. And if you're in our comments or there, if you're a viewer here and you don't realize the power that Clyburn held, he handed the presidency to Joe Biden. He handed it to him because Joe Biden was getting slaughtered. Super Tuesday hadn't happened yet, right? But the early primaries. What are the first ones there? New Hampshire,
Iowa,
all of that. So Joe Biden was losing. The dude was about to be out of this thing. And then Clyburn came out and endorsed him. He won. Joe Biden won South Carolina, and then he just took off from there. Clyburn delivered the presidency to Joe Biden. That and the 81 million fake voters, however many were fake. Not all 81 were, but anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. Clyburn has a huge thing there. So I wonder if that decision was more about Clyburn's control versus them trying to do the right thing. I don't know. But regardless, I think that those are the same people that will have a masked gunman at their front door and say, hey, do you want to come in for coffee and let's talk about it? They're the ones that are going to continue to invite this enemy in. And right now, the Democratic Party and their ideology is the enemy. And you can mince words about it all you want to, Paul, but the Democratic Party and their sick ideology, not every aspect of it, like you want to care for the homeless and care for all this stuff. I get what you're trying to say. Like, I'm not trying to say that that's sick, but when you want to talk about the indoctrination, the sexual indoctrination of our children, when you want to talk about just the absolute dissolving of the nuclear family and the importance of the nuclear family, you want to talk about that and just allowing this third world ideology to come in here, these Islamic people that want to absolutely destroy our way of life, and they want to destroy us as human beings, can't stand us, hate us, want to steal our money. You want to talk about that as the Democratic Party's platform, and yet you had a chance to snuff one of those votes out and you didn't take it. You have a gun at your head and you're wanting to talk the gunman down because you don't really think that it's a threat, and you're going to lose your life over it.
I agree. I mean, yeah, I know this is figuratively speaking. Yeah. Mark Lynch sums it up. He says, if Lindsey Graham wanted South Carolina to pass redistricting, then it would have passed. Lindsey doesn't want it passing because Lindsey is very close with James Clyburn. Very astute political instincts by Mark Lynch to bring this local issue into the statewide Senate race. Really,
South
really
Carolina,
good there.
please vote for Mark Lynch.
Amen.
And get Lindsey Graham out of there.
Folks, that's all the time that we have for this edition of the Paul Harrell program. We really appreciate you being with us. And we will be back here tomorrow. I want to give a shout out to Red Vive Health, New Horizon Real Estate, Gateway Sight and Sound, Pet Club 247, and Sherrod Chiropractic. And we will see you guys tomorrow.